bubbles in my mouth. I love it. Hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. I'm gonna do a Q&A and answer some questions so that you guys can get to know me a little bit better. I feel like you guys at least have the right to know who it is you're listening to. I say ignore and then I point it out. Anyways, that's just some laundry that I'm gonna get to a little bit later because I don't feel like doing my chores right now. I wrote questions down and I'm just gonna go through the list and answer some fun ones. So let's dive right in. I go by she, her. I'm of the belief that I only want to be referred to by people that know me by name. We should talk about, like abolishing gender once and for all. My name is Laurel Lakunji, and that's kind of the Americanized pronunciation. My parents say my name Laurel Lakunji. My little sister calls me Lolel. Take your pick of any of those. Now I'm gonna get into the fun stuff because I feel like that was just, like housekeeping. Okay, so what classes did I take in high school? Well, high school for me was like 5 years ago. No. Yeah, oh my God. I'm going to it was like 5 years ago, but I took all the basic things like science and math for the first 2 years. The most significant year of high school though was my senior year of high school where I took a chemistry class and I did band. I did the audition band, like the higher band, and then I did the audition choir, the madrigals, the mixed choir, and then I did theater because I really thought I was going to be on Broadway. I don't know why I thought that. I really just decided to be on Broadway. I think it's because I had all my friends just so happened to be into theater. And I just got so swept in with it. When I was younger, I was definitely the average of whoever I was hanging out with, and I was hanging out with a lot of theater kids. But my time in the theater program really just disillusioned me from theater as a whole. Oh my gosh, I was even supposed to go, I actually got into a conservatory program. I got into Northern Arizona University's theater program, so I was actually just gonna do theater, and then last minute just changed my mind, like after I'd paid the deposit and everything to Arizona and literally never contacted the school. Oh my God. And then I just changed my mind and decided to go to where I am now and studied anthropology. So someone wanted me to talk more about anthropology and my concentration. Yeah, so I got into anthropology because of Bones, because Bones is a forensic anthropologist, and I just really loved the whole mystery detective nature of it all, and the fact that you could look at a human body, like the bones of someone's body, and know so much about their life just based on how we age and how our bodies reflect our lifestyles. So I came to college, and for the first year I really still thought I was going to do theater even though I was at a new school, but the program was super fucked up, and it was like every year you have to audition at the end and you can get cut. I had severe anxiety. I was like, no sirree Bob. And I took a class, race and ethnic relations, that changed my whole life. And so I was like, sociology is kind of bitchin'. And then I took an intro anthropology course my freshman year. And I don't think it was a conscious decision. Like I didn't decide to declare. It's just every quarter after that, I kept taking more and more anthropology classes and was just so in love with learning why the world is the way it is. I grew up in a predominantly white area. I was the only Black kid at my elementary school until my sister joined me a couple years later. And then, towards the end of my experience there was a couple other kids that were not white, but it was a really, really white place. And so I think I just had a lot of questions and a little voice in the back of my head that I was just like, something isn't right. The world looks fine and should be fine, but something about it just doesn't make sense. Why is it the way it is? And so I was really just trying to figure myself out and my place in the world out, and anthropology was the perfect vehicle for my investigative little mind, because I just love knowing about things and knowing how things work. Anthropology just really called to me. I love it. I love it so much. I actually want to be a professor. But then I was like, I don't want to go through academia. My favorite professor pulled me aside and was like, yeah, if you try to go to grad school, it's a boys club and they'll probably eat you alive, and you just have to think about the mental stamina you will need to make it through a program like that unscathed. And you likely won't make it through a program like that unscathed. And that's honestly kind of when my relationship to academia went sideways, because I just really wasn't about that life. It's just not worth it to suffer, period. I don't think people should suffer. I think suffering's a scam, and I could talk about that for ages, but I think that some things are normalized. I don't know, college was such a low-key traumatic experience for me. It was just a lot. I learned a lot of things, realized a lot of things, and was like, oh, I'm like black. I might go back later and become a professor, but I also find that I'm really interested in social media. And so I don't know what an old white dude that died in the 1800s is going to really tell me about how social media influences culture. It's like, I'm glad I read the theory, glad I read the textbooks. But seriously, what do I have to learn from an old white dude about culture? And my concentration is cultural, and yeah, I'm out here trying to learn about patterns, overarching patterns and themes to, I don't know, man, and white supremacy. We'll see how that goes. Favorite foods? My top favorite food is ndole. It's a traditional Cameroonian dish. My dad makes chef's kiss. He makes like the best ndole I've ever had. But my favorite American food, I don't really know if I have any like favorite foods. I could fuck up some apples and cheese. That's pretty good. I like Thanksgiving. Even though, wow, what a colonizer holiday. I think it's more about the ambiance of fall and not so much really the food. I don't really know. I guess I don't really have favorite foods. I've been craving corn dogs lately. They're not even good. I think I just really want to eat a corn dog. Top 3 albums of all time and favorite artist. So my top 3 albums of all time would probably have to be Flying Lotus's You're Dead. Jack and Eliza. Jack and Eliza, I think it's called Gentle Warnings. And I also think it's their only full-length album, but that album got me through some times. Let me tell you, I was sophomore year of college, me really needed Jack and Eliza to just carry her through the entire experience. So Jack and Eliza, and then probably I'd probably have to say maybe Aloha's Side B would be my top 3 albums. I have a lot of favorite songs more so, but albums is hard. But those 3 are really good and always take me back to a place I want to be. The Bowerbirds also make incredible music, and like Rico Nasty makes incredible music. And I like some EDM like Rez. I don't know, I might link some playlists down below so that you guys can get a taste of the music I like. And I also just love making playlists. So if you want to follow me on Spotify, listen to some playlists I make, I would love to share my music taste that way. My favorite artist would have to be, damn. Girl, I don't know. Last year I was in a Rico Nasty year where I really just, the energy of Rico Nasty is what I wanted to bring to the table for my life. So I think I'm still working through the rest of that phase, and I'll see where I land in the end. I don't know, I'm not really good at having favorites of things. I just kind of like what I like when I like it, and it changes a lot. Countries I would want to visit. I think traveling is unethical. And I'm not saying don't travel. I don't know. I think about the ethics of travel and tourism a lot. And I feel that it's none of my business really to be going places that I'm not from just for a vacation experience. I feel that tourism really does change landscapes a lot. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done to make tourism as beneficial to local communities outside of just the income. Okay, I will say that I do want to go to Prague and I want to go to Russia. My uncle lived there for a while, and I feel I've just always kind of stand Russia. I went to Thailand a couple years ago. I worked a job and spent all my money on a ticket and went with a friend for a couple weeks. That's kind of where I realized that tourists are kind of trash. There's a lot of like gross old men that were there to get with Thai women. And I was like, oh, this place is wonderful, but it's really different. And if I were ever to go back, I'd want to go and have that, not authentic experience, but I would make more of an effort to connect with other people. Movies or TV and favorite shows and movies. I'm more of I'm gonna say a limited series person. Oh no, TV, 100% TV. I love reality TV. I love reality TV. I think reality TV is incredible. I think anyone that doesn't like reality TV is a liar or doesn't understand the wonderful intricacies of human interaction. Because it is scripted, sure, but a lot of these like competition reality shows like The Challenge or The Bachelor or Bachelorette, Are You the One, Love is Blind, The Circle, Survivor. I haven't gotten to Amazing Race, but I might. Love Island, Temptation Island, the one show that was about like, oh, are you gonna live in the future or the past? All these shows just tell me so much about the human condition. And I love nothing more than just to sit back, relax, and really just analyze people based on the characters they portray and their edits, and just diving deep into subreddits about TV shows. Like, if you want to find me anywhere at any given time, it'll be on the Bachelor subreddit. I'm not really an off-season Bachelor subreddit kind of gal, but during the on-season, the discourse there, I just lurk and read because people are crazy. Favorite TV show? I would say Vanderpump Rules. It's a reality TV show that follows Lisa Vanderpump from Beverly Hills Housewives. Like, her restaurant and the staff, they're the worst people I've ever met in my entire life. I've never met them. Half the cast got fired for being racist this past summer, which is just hilarious. And just watching people pretend to work at a restaurant for 7 years straight is amazing. I watched all 8 seasons in like 2 months. It took a really big toll on my mental health. I was a very angry person watching that show because they're very angry people, and it just bled into my life. But Vanderpump Rules, I recommend watching it. Maybe pace yourself. Don't do what I did, but watch the show. What's the best movie I've seen recently? I can tell you the worst movie I've seen recently, and that's Tenet. Worst movie I've seen in a long time. I don't like movies, I think, because lately I feel like I've seen every single actor in every single movie ever. So it just becomes like, oh, this is our Pats pretending to be someone else. And then I just watch and I'm like, they're lying. I don't know, I've had like a weird breakup with movies. Oh, Cats. Cats is my favorite movie. 100% Cats. Favorite social media accounts, and someone also asked who my favorite YouTubers are, so I'm just gonna put that in one category. I like Amanda BB. She's a YouTuber and she's awesome. I really like Alize. She makes commentary. I don't always agree, but I do really appreciate her content. And then some other people's, Cody Co, Noelle Miller, Tiny Meat Gang. I've been with Cody Co for like 5 years now. I really feel like we are friends. And the Damn on the Tiny Meat Gang podcast will be a really big day for all of us, I'm sure. And then my favorite social media accounts, I'd say Flex Mommy on Instagram and Bobo. They have like my favorite podcast and the Bobo and Flex show. And so I just love following them. And Flex makes these really awesome reflex cards. They're like these questions you actually want to answer, and they're so cool. What's one thing you hate about yourself? And then there's a whole process of like, you ask the question, you answer the question on instinct, and then you take a moment to examine why you answered the way you answered, and then you talk about what influenced your answer, and then you try to answer the question in a different way or see if you can read the question differently. And my friends and I did that all summer long. Honestly, if you're trying to have like an intense soul journey and figure shit out about yourself, reflex cards. My absolute favorite thing to do, would probably be research. And not any particular kind of research. I just like acquiring information about many different things and getting really deep into topics. I love it. I love creating conspiracy theories in my own head and seeing if there's any proof, or doing things like recently I've started an endeavor of connecting COVID to Oprah just for fun, to see if there are links there or how I can track where we are with Oprah Winfrey. So I do think she's kind of a problem, only because of Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil, but I don't know, I might make a video about that, honestly. I think I just really like thinking a lot. I really just love thinking and investigating and discovering. So that's my absolute favorite thing to do with my time off. And I'm sure I'm missing something that I actually love doing. I also love to nap. I love a good night's sleep. Yeah, I guess like just talking to my friends makes me really happy. What do I like to do outside of social media? Right now I'm making stuffed animals. So I like doing projects and making art, different kinds of art. I play guitar and bass, and so I've been making music with friends for the past year and a half or so. Not anymore because of the pandemic, but I would jam with my friend Shelby a lot when we had time after school or in the summer, and just write songs. So I have like a little book where I write music, and I also like to write. So I'll write poetry sometimes, or like little short stories. I've always been into writing short stories. And someone also asked about the paintings on my wall, and those are paintings I've done. I took apart my dresser to paint that one. I have like a ton of other boards that are painted on from my dresser. That's like the first painting I made, actually, or the first painting I did. And it was two summers ago when I was feeling really disconnected from myself and art, because I drew a lot as a kid and then got really separated from it because I got in my head about like, what is good art and what does art have to mean. So that's like the first painting I did, because I was like, I'm gonna get back into that shit, because I feel like that's a really good way to convey my emotions. And then that one over there is like a self-portrait. This one, it's a self-portrait. And then I have like some collage and line drawings and some more drawings up there. So I like to draw quite a bit. They never really make any sense. I don't know, I'm really drawn to shapes and lines and bright colors. I embroider some, that's a work in progress. I like to make my friends little goo alter egos, making stuffed animals right now. Getting into making clothing and maybe jewelry, but I'm not a big jewelry gal, so we'll see about that. I just kind of like the idea of making the things I want instead of waiting for other people to make what I want. Ooh, someone asked if I'm a thinker or a doer. I would say I was a lot more of a thinker, but I'm in a doing phase of my life right now. But I also broke my ankle during the pandemic on a slip and slide. Super dumb. And at my big age, it was a very embarrassing injury. But I used a lot of the time I was forced to sit to just question my life and why I did what I did. And so that was the thinking phase. And so now I'm in a doing phase of just, I don't know, making my life what I want it to be and just doing what I want to do. I just kind of trust in myself and the process of life and just kind of do stuff. I'm a pretty feelings driven person, so I go a lot with intuition. So I've divested really from having any thoughts. I also think like thinking is a scam. Like being in my head really doesn't get me anywhere, and it keeps me pretty stuck and in a fantasy land that's not real. So I figure, you know, if I'm trying to retire in the next 10 years on a farm in France, I should probably like, you know, get to work. Oh, my interior design aesthetic. Someone asked. I was really pumped about being back in my room. I just kind of like, I don't know, I don't really have an aesthetic. I find that every time I try to define what my aesthetic is, I can't quite pin it down, and it gets a little frustrating because it doesn't fit in a box. I just pick what I like and move forward. I think if I had an unlimited budget and could design my dream house, it would be honestly Regency, big Bridgerton, like the wallpaper vibes, and just, yeah, like some light academia with some Afrofuturism thrown in. I just like cool things. I think that life should just be art. I don't think life should be art, what the fuck? But I do think that, I don't know, I think I just want to have things I like around me and not really question whether or not they fit, because it will fit, because it's stuff I like. So I'm sure I could answer that question a little better in retrospect, but currently I couldn't tell you. I think right now I'm trying to like have my dream room. This is the first room I've actually put time and effort into, and it's not even done. But normally I just kind of consider my room a place I sleep, but I realized with the pandemic, you know, I'm spending a lot of time indoors, so I should probably like where I'm at. Oh, am I a visual artist? Yeah, I would, well, I wouldn't say I'm a visual artist. I'm just like a, I don't even know if I want to say I'm an artist. I like to make stuff. Yeah, I don't really like to call myself any one thing, because I feel like once you call yourself something, then you're no longer really that thing, or you don't really think of, it just kind of boxes you in, so I just don't consider myself anything. I just like to do stuff that I wish I had seen more of when I was younger. Sometimes people aren't really talking to, I don't know, people like me in the media or in creative spaces. So yeah, I'm going to go and grab a beer with my friend because we found a cute little spot that has really empty outdoor seating right now, and I don't know, man, I would give anything to feel like a human again. Yeah, but thanks for watching. I'm excited to see where this channel goes. If it grows, that's awesome, and if it doesn't, that's also really cool. I'm just glad that y'all are here. So